Have you ever found yourself rage quitting in rebellion? Well, I have very recently. And today I'm going to teach you the lessons that I learned from that experience. I'm Missy Hughes, and I'm a productivity coach. I coach you one on one to get through the things that hold you back in life, the things that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you procrastinating and not moving forward to the things that you want. So come to a free discovery call where we can see where you are, what you feel like are the roadblocks for you, and start to make a plan moving forward. Go to the link in the description of this video and find the link to my calendar so that you can schedule your free discovery call. So, rage quitting. What in the world? I had this experience recently. It was like this very laid back experience where there was this challenge in a group that I'm in. And I showed up to the challenge thinking, I'm already kind of good at this. No big deal for me. And then I got into it and I was like, wait, don't tell me what to do. I'm not going to do what you say to do. I'm not going to do this at all. I'm going to, how about this? How about I'll do nothing and you'll see how you like it? I rage quit. I like roar. If I were like a horse galloping towards a cliff, and you've seen the cartoons, the horse is like, "Arr!" and the rider goes flying off. That was me. I was the horse, the right, all of the things that I had been working toward went flying off the cliff. And I just moseyed over and started eating some grass. It was the craziest thing. It was like utter rebellion. Stop, rage quit. I'm out of here. It was lunacy, except that it wasn't. Whenever you find yourself in a toddler style rage quit, the rebellion actually has something to say. The rebel is puffing up their chest and saying, I'll protect you. Don't you worry about it. You don't do a thing. I've got you. The rebel is has puffed up energy. It's getting bigger so that you feel that presence more and then you can sort of hide behind, right? The rebel's always hiding something. So this is something to know. The rebel is protecting you from something. It's also hiding a fear of some sort. And lastly, the rebel has an unmet longing. There's something that the rebel wants that they're not getting. So they're puffing up and saying, oh, I don't want that anyway. So when we take a beat and we say, okay, what is this rebellion that I'm in? What is this protecting me from? What am I hiding? What do I actually need? What do I want? What is that longing that I have that I need to meet? So when you're in these questions, when you're in this feeling of rebellion, I want you to ask yourself some questions. Number one, what is this rebel? What is this rebellion that I'm acting out? What is it protecting me from? A lot of times there is like an un they're unwanted emotions that we don't want to experience. And we don't want to experience these uncomfortable emotions because we're making it mean that something has gone wrong. So if I think every time I feel uncomfortable that something's wrong in my life or in the world, then I'm going to avoid that like the plague, right? I'm going to rage quit. I'm going to stop and do nothing in order to avoid uncomfortable emotions. So but that's not really the truth. Every time I feel uncomfortable emotions, it doesn't actually mean something has gone wrong. Sometimes I feel sad because sad things have happened and I want to be able to let my tears fly. Sometimes I have had an expectation, like something I wanted something, I was very excited about something, and it didn't happen, and I feel disappointment. That's okay. Disappointment is absolutely valid at that point, right? If I really wanted something and it didn't happen for whatever reason, it doesn't necessarily mean that anything's wrong. It just means I feel disappointment. Sometimes there's an expectation that I have that is actually a little off. Like it was never meant to happen that way. And it feels very uncomfortable to meet that expectation and be like, oh, I was expecting the wrong thing. Sometimes shame can come up, and that feels terrible to feel. Who wants that in their life? But that's okay. Like, oh, maybe I'm embarrassed. Oh, I thought it was going to be this. It's actually that. Oops. Right? It's okay. Nothing's gone wrong. Because when I can see that and say, oh, I feel uncomfortable, wonder what's happening here, I get to deepen my experience of me. I get to deepen my understanding. Wonder why I had that expectation that was off. Wonder what was happening for the other person, if there was another person involved. Wonder what was happening for them. Can I get to know them a little bit more? Me being uncomfortable about an unmet expectation means I get to ask more questions. I get to understand more deeply myself and the people around me. What a gift. Because if I always just get my way, then I there's no friction, right? There's no friction that says, do you really want it that way? There's no friction that says, what's going on for other people in this experience? There's no opportunity to really dig into it more. If it's always just smooth sailing, then listen, that's fun. There's nothing wrong with smooth sailing either. But when it's not smooth sailing, it's also a beautiful opportunity just to get to know yourself a little bit more. It doesn't mean always that something has gone terribly wrong. So, going back to that that rebellion that we act out, sometimes what it's protecting you from is doing something wrong. If you think that I'm going to rebel. I'm going to be over here doing nothing instead of doing something wrong. I don't want to make mistakes because it might be painful. I don't want to make mistakes because somebody else might have feelings about it. So sometimes it's that fear of failure, that fear of doing it wrong that puts you in the puffed up mood. Well, I'm denying doing it all. That's stupid. I'm not even getting into that. That's what I did in this experience I just had. I was like, and then I realized, because I do care about what's going on and for me, I was like, why am I acting like this? And so I dug into it a little bit deeper. Sometimes that rebel is protecting you from other people's opinions. Now, this one I could do a whole nother teaching on, but as small humans, as babies, we needed the adults around us to want to take care of us. So their opinions of us were pretty important. We needed them for survival. And so we kind of learned to work with them in the best way. And for a lot of us, that means pleasing the people around us so that they take care of us. Right now, this is back when you're little and you don't know that you're doing these kind of things. But here's the problem. We grow into an adulthood and nobody says, hey, you don't need to please people anymore. Forget it. You've graduated. You're done. You're surviving on your own. No one gives us that diploma. And so we use the tools that we learned when we were tiny, and we just keep growing through life with them. We keep using them. We keep pleasing around us. So that fear of other people's opinions can hold us back sometimes because we're like, ooh, I'm not okay if you don't think I'm okay. I'm not okay if you don't like what I did. It can be scary. Now we can learn to be okay, but that rebel is like, I don't care what you think. But really, I'm just not going to put myself out there so I never know what you think because I'm back here hiding behind this puffed up energy, right? So, what is the rebellion protecting me from? Is it uncomfortable emotions? Is it doing it wrong? Is it other people's opinions? Maybe it's something totally different from you for you. But when you ask yourself the question, what is this rebellion protecting me from? Then you'll start to get some answers. Question number 2, how can I understand this scenario more deeply? How can I get the context for this? Did something happen in my past that's making me show up for, I learned a lesson then that makes me show up in this way now? Is there more that's going on for someone else? And when I see that part of someone else, it triggers something in me. What's happening? Because a lot of times when we have a situation where we're like, oh, I'm gonna back out of here, there's more to the story than just like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. I've said I wanted to be a part of that, but now that we get into it, no thanks. I no. That rebellion comes in, and what we said we wanted, we just back right out of. There's more to the story. How can I get to know this story a little bit more deeply? Do I need to be seen? So maybe there's context from the past. Maybe I just need to be seen. I need to be acknowledged. I need to maybe be acknowledged in general in life. Maybe I feel a little invisible. Maybe I need to be acknowledged by a certain person in my life. Maybe I just need to be acknowledged by me. Maybe I don't feel okay in here. And so, me just seeing what's happening in my own inner world can be really valuable. It can tell you what's going on in this situation. So, another thing that you can find when you're asking how can I get to know this more deeply? How can I understand what's happening more deeply? Is at a base level, we're all just trying to survive this world, right? We're trying to get through it efficiently. Our first priority is always survival. So if I look at any scenario in that, I can say, okay, how do I understand this more deeply in the context that I'm trying to survive here? How does it make sense if I'm worried about my survival? Right. And, I chuckle a little bit because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm making such a big deal out of something. But maybe in my body, it does feel like a big deal. How does it make sense? How does this scenario make sense? I'm rebelling. How does that make sense if I don't feel safe in some way? So that brings me to my next question, my third question I want you to ask. How can I show up for myself? How can I create safety? So sometimes, I need to just say, oh, I need to recognize I am actually safe. This reminds me of a thing in the past where I didn't feel safe, but right now, actually, I am safe. Maybe I just need acknowledgement. Maybe I just need to calm down in my body. One way that I do that is I put my hand on my heart. Usually it's my right hand on the left side of my chest, hand on the heart. And it's like a security blanket. It's like a weighted blanket. I just feel that pressure of me on me, and it can be calming. Sometimes I just take a deep breath and I think while I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And it just centers and brings you back to right here, right now. Nothing else is going on, just a little breathing in and a little breathing out. That little bit of centering, bringing you back and bring you back to safety, bringing your body's experience back to safety. You may have other tools that you use, and that's amazing. Whatever works for you. Do I need to find safety? How do I want to show up to create that safety? Another way I can show up for myself is, how can I be seen? Do I need to have a conversation with another person? Do I need to step out and try something new and be okay with being visible? Do I need to hear my own self, do some journaling, put down the words that are rolling through my head? All of those are ways that you can show up for yourself and be seen. Another element of showing up for yourself is being supported. Do I have a group that I can lean into in this moment and be supported? In the scenario where I was rage quitting, I did have that community, and it was so powerful. I shed tons of tears. I didn't even know where they were coming from. I was able to open up and get out of the rebel persona and just be seen. I was able to be held by these people in a safe way. Maybe it's just one other person that's able to support you, hear what you're going through. Maybe it's you supporting you by doing things that are nurturing. So just to recap, when you find yourself rebelling, when you find yourself puffing up and being like, I'm out of here, this is dumb, this is stupid, I'm going to do nothing, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do nothing instead. When you find yourself in that rebellion, ask yourself 3 questions. What is this rebel protecting me from? How do I understand this situation more deeply? I don't need to hide anymore. And number 3, how can I show up for myself to create safety, to be seen, and to be supported? Listen, if any of this resonates with you, if any light bulbs are going off, if any alarms are ringing for you, I want to hold you in this safe space so that you can be seen and create the safety for yourself. So I encourage you to come to a free discovery call where you can see, where is this rebel showing up for you, and how can we start to show up in life? How can we get you through that rebel phase where you've got to puff up and then hide, and start showing up and be seen? I look forward to seeing you soon.